Hello, Facebook and all of our audience. Elena Rahrig here from ElenaRahrig.com, talking with
Cami Baker from CamiBaker.com and MingleTomillions.com.
Awesome. Well, last week we talked about a lot of different great topics, but I believe we left off with talking about people who think that they don't need to learn anymore, and they stop learning after high school or college, and they're just getting stuck in that 9 to 5, not getting anywhere, not happy, and getting people to want to learn again. So Cami, what are your thoughts on the topic? Let's go the extreme opposite and talk about people who love to learn, but they get stuck becoming information seekers because they, I struggle with this. I love to learn and constantly learning the next thing and how to do things, and being that independent person who knows how to do everything themselves. But then I found myself not stopping and applying all the stuff that I've learned. So I was still stuck. It makes you feel almost stupid because we're not applying the wisdom and intelligence that we have. So what are your thoughts on this topic?
Well, they say that knowledge is power, but actually applied knowledge is power. Applied knowledge is power. So you're absolutely right. I've said many times to myself and to my students, sometimes you got to stop going to class and go to work. And I know how it feels to get stuck in that rut of, oh my God, I got to learn. Like even right now in the last week, I've been in what I call download mode. Like I'm so inspired. I've got all these things coming into my head, and I'm just writing all these alliterations and titles and programs and things. So, to be in a place where we're always learning but not applying it can be just as frustrating, especially, for those of us who are teachers and mentors and coaches and that have heard the calling and are called to share and be a messenger to whomever our audience is. For me personally, I get into the place where I want to give so much that I want to get 10 times that so that I can give it out. I think kind of like, I'm a mama bird giving the worm to the baby birds, but I got to go get my mama bird to give me the worm so that I can feed it on, and it's a flow of energy. And so, yeah, there comes a time when we've got to apply the knowledge because, I know a lot of people, and I'm sure you do too, that are really, 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 really smart, but they don't do anything with it.
Absolutely. And my light bulb moment to this was, how the ads go through your Facebook page and it's like, learn how to do this, learn how to do that. And, that's all this offers that they give you. Well, I click on those all the time, and I always take the free consultation. And a lot of times I end up hiring the people, and then I have all these different coaches teaching me all this different stuff, and I've spent thousands of dollars. Well, so I did this for a couple years, and it was about a year ago. I clicked on one. I had this consultation with this guy, and he's telling me all this, and I said, well, I know how to do all of that, and I'm telling him where I am and everything I know. Because now when I hire somebody, I want the step by step, because I know a lot, and I'm not, at the end of one of them, this guy, his service was to consult. And I said, I don't need consulting. I know how to do it. At this point, I want to pay somebody to do it for me. But anyway, so I'm talking to this one guy, and I'm saying, well, I do that, and I do this, and blah, blah, blah. And he was flat out honest. He says, you don't need to hire me. He goes, you know everything. He goes, you're an information seeker. He flat out told me that. He said, you're an information seeker. You need to stop seeking information, and you need to start applying what you already know, because what you already know will make you successful. And I literally laughed on the phone and said, oh my gosh, you are absolutely right. I just want to keep learning. My dad started me at 12 years old, paying me to read books, and he taught me how to self-educate. And it has become a way of life for me. I am a lifetime student, and I said I need to apply what I know. And in this last year, my business has boomed because I finally stopped trying to hire everybody to teach me something new.
You know, I'm going to guess that a lot of people that are watching this are in the place where maybe they want to learn, but they're not even sure where to start or how to learn or what they should learn, et cetera, et cetera. And, you know, when I started on my self-development journey about 16 years ago, I had been out of high school for many years. I had not read a book since I'd been out of high school. I had not been back to class. The day I graduated high school, I was just thankful to be rid of the chains, and I launched my entrepreneurship a long time ago. So when I got back into learning, I realized I was a voracious reader. I wanted to learn. I was a sponge. I wanted that information, but there came a point where I had to realize that. And so for people who are watching, who are thinking, well, I don't really know where to start or what to do, people who ask me over the years, well, what books do you recommend and what seminars have you gone to and how did you go from that mindset to this mindset? And I've got a whole list of books and things on CamiBaker.com under Cami's recommendations that you can click on. But one of the things I wanted to share today is how to start learning by asking people questions. Because, you know, we've got two of these and one of these, two of these and one of these. And when we are talking, we're talking about what we already know. So you and I are exchanging some energy, and I'm learning something from you and you're learning something from me because we're having a nice conversation. However, when I'm talking, I already know what I know. You already know what you know. So to ask questions and open our ears to listen to that person. So, you know, when I talk about building a visionary network, and people come to me because they want to learn how to network and how to create conversations and how to follow up and just how to have a better networking situation. This plays beautifully into that, because when we are at an event, anyway, and frankly, networking, NetPLAYING is anywhere, anytime that we are communicating with another person. But to be able to ask people, hey, what are you working on? You know, tell me something about you that has nothing to do with what you do for work or where you're from. We'll start learning about different businesses that are being created, different things that are swirling around in the universe, these different ideas. We will be enlightened to what other people are interested in. And, you know, as entrepreneurs, to find out you're basically doing market research. You're doing market research to find out what the general public wants. And so, you know, when I go to these, I can't tell you the conversations I've had about things that I mean, this one event that I went to in New York City, found out that people will pay to share meals at other people's houses. And I thought, well, why would people pay to go sit in a stranger's house to eat? Well, why would people pay to go sleep in a stranger's bed? It's called Airbnb, and it's the biggest, you know, distributor of sleeping arrangements that there is in the world. And so it's a matter of being able to open ourselves up to what is out there, open up to the possibilities, ask people questions, use these and this in proportion, 2 to 1.
Amen. Shut up and listen. Let's just be blunt. That, you know how many people I want to say that to? You know, especially when you're teaching someone and you're really, your heart wants to help them get to that next level, and you're teaching and you're having a blast teaching them, and you know what you're teaching them works if they would just apply it, and their response is, yeah, but I. Yeah, but I. Get rid of the I statements. You know, the I statements, people love to talk about themselves, of course, but what I teach in writing, if somebody's going to write a book, especially a personal development type of book, you should have 1 I statement for every 5 you statements. And so if we would take that into our everyday life, think about the dramatic change that we would, you know, the results that we would produce, and stop and be teachable. It's one of my lessons in my program, Your 5D Transformation System, is be teachable. People are not teachable. I don't know if it's pride or what it is, but we want to pretend we already know. And the response of, well, I know. Well, you don't know, or you're not applying it, you know? So it's just be teachable. Stop the I statements and shut up and listen. But I want to talk to you about, you mentioned, you know, people ask, well, what book are you reading? The fact is, people don't like to read. They really don't. 97% of the population, they don't like to read books. And this actually, I don't even know if you know about this program that I developed. I know you know that I developed 6, but one of the 6 is called Stimulate My Mind. And it was designed for people who hate reading books. And my husband actually inspired me to create this program, because I could never get him to read. And he would say, well, I fall asleep while I read, or, it doesn't hold my interest. I'm too tired, whatever. And so I said, okay, how do we get past this? And I know I mentioned it, maybe not on one of our videos. I think it was a different video I did, but I mentioned, oh, it was my interview with Ronald. I did a radio interview and we just talked about this. But think about if you're not going to the gym and working out, your body's out of shape. You can't go out there and even run half a mile. You're lucky if you make it a 1/10 of a mile if you're out of shape. So it's the same thing with our brain. Our brain gets out of shape because we stopped exercising it. Learning is mental exercises. And so if we get the brain back in shape, we can eventually learn to enjoy reading and stay awake with what we're reading. But the thing is we got to start you somewhere else. Put the books down, forget the books, because you don't like to read. So let's look at other creative ways that you can learn.
I got an idea. I know what it is.
What is it?
Well, first of all, when you find yourself saying, yeah, but I know. Anytime you feel yourself getting ready to say the yeah, but or the I know, stop yourself. Because right in that moment, whenever you're saying, I know, you really don't know, like Elena just said, especially when you have a mentor or a coach, especially when you're investing in yourself to get their wisdom. Anytime I'm on the phone with my mentor, I have a paper and a pen, and I've got a couple of questions for clarity, and I let that person share their wisdom. I know that when I say I know to my mentor or yeah, but, I'm showing my ignorance. Because when I'm investing with that person several hundred, several $1,000s, my time, taking their time, knowing that the reason why I'm on the phone with them is because of their wisdom, for me to say, yeah, but, is so ignorant. So I just shut my mouth and listen and let it soak in, and maybe it'll come on me. But to get back to your point.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, but no.
Yeah, but, so here's the thing. Audios. When I'm in my car, every now and then I listen to music, and when I'm listening to music, it's always upbeat. I don't want to hear. I always think about the song from Beck. I'm a loser, baby, so why don't you kill me? I mean, think about those lyrics. Is that what we want to put in my head? What are we listening to? What are we listening to? Are we listening to music that is degrading or news and things like that? In my car, I have listened to thousands of hours. I've got a CD series in there right now with the guy that talks about how to be a better public speaker and how to speak to people from the stage. I've got all kinds of things in my car. And even though I'll listen to some upbeat music and, get my groove on occasion, 80% of the time when I'm in the car, there is a CD, there is Audibles, there is Darren Hardy, there is John Maxwell, there is Abraham Hicks. There is something that inspires me, turns me on, taps me in, gets me going. I've got my paper, my pen. I have to, because I'll hear something. Even right now we're talking and I didn't bring my paper and pen outside and I can't make a note on it. Damn, I'm going to forget that. So if you can't read, or if you don't have time, and I don't always read, but I'm listening to the books, because when you listen to the books, you get educated, you become smarter, your world expands, you get inspired, you get ideas. I mean, some of the material that I'm just downloading now is really coming from other places, and I'm just like, ooh, that's great, that fits right in with what I'm doing, and oh, I love that, and I put it together. So my material, just like your material, just like anybody's material, is simply R&D. We rob and duplicate. We rob it from someplace else and duplicate it in our material, but it's the way that I see it. It's the way that I'm putting this little bit with that little bit and having my own realization that, oh, that's how that fits. And that's why there is no competition, because we all do something a little bit different. You haven't listened to exactly what I've listened to, or anybody else has. We all have our own experiences. So listen to things in the car that inspire you, even if you have to just bite the bullet and take. There's some things that I'll try to listen to that bore the crap out of me. If it bores me, then I turn it off. And 6 months later, I might put it back in and try it again. Power versus Force. Power versus Force is a great book, and I hear people say all the time you should read it. And I have picked it up at least a half a dozen times, and I can't get past the first chapter. My brain just doesn't get it. Not the way that this particular person writes it. But I keep trying it again. Every 6 months, I'll pick it up and see if I can do it. So find something that resonates with you. I got an ebook yesterday via emails and all that stuff, and it's about emotional-based marketing. Emotional-based marketing. And I got this ebook, and I read 50 pages last night. I couldn't put it down.
Yeah.
So something that turns you on, even if it's a dying novel, you know, at least it's getting you in the pattern of reading, and you learn new words, you learn how to spell, you learn patterns of language, you learn where to put the comma and the period, if if you're into that, just all that stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, let's go back to the Stimulate My Mind, the program. One of the things is, when you decide you want to exercise again, let's go back to the body. When we decide, oh, I need to go back to the gym, I need to be healthy again, we go and we're going to give it our all, man. We're going to walk for a half hour on the treadmill. We're going to take that Zumba class and then go do spin class. And then we leave there nearly dead because we haven't worked out in 5 years, but we really tried to give it our all. And now when we think about going back, we're like, oh, I don't want to do that again. It was way too much. So let's take that same concept into getting the brain reactivated and liking to learn. And so what people do is they say, okay, well, I'll read a book, and they pick it up and they're going 5-6 chapters. Well, then the next time they think, oh, I'm going to pick that book up and read it again, they're like, oh, no, that wasn't much fun. Well, that's because you tried to read 5 or 6 chapters after not learning for how many years. And so we really want to baby step them. And so with the Stimulate My Mind program, there's 5 levels, and each level is laid out just like an exercise program, as if you were going to work out your body. And each day, literally level 1 is read 1 page. And if you pick level 1 to come in at, which means you absolutely hate reading, my husband would do level 1, and you cannot go past 1 page, because it goes back to the mind of conditioning your mind. So right now, your brain thinks, I don't like to read. So you're only allowed to read 1 page because that's what it says on the calendar. So you get to the end of the page and it's in the middle of a sentence. Sorry, you're not allowed to read more than 1 page. So what are you doing? And especially if you're in the middle of a profound teaching or something great and you want to know what's coming next, well, you're not allowed to read more than 1 page. So what are you spending the rest of the evening doing? Going, man, I want to read that 2nd page. What does that 2nd page say? So your brain is now saying, I want to read. So we're starting to recondition what your brain says. And so the more you do this for a month. Each level takes 1 month to get through. And so maybe on day like 3 or 4, I have you to 2 pages, but you can't go past that 2 pages. So for an entire month, you're saying, I want to read. And you're reconditioning that thought. But we don't just read. I also have, each day you have to get on YouTube. And you have to watch something on YouTube. YouTube is used for entertainment a lot. And, oh, I need to solve this one problem. You might get on like, okay, how do I number pages in Microsoft Word? That video is used a lot with my clients. But people don't realize there's some great motivational stuff on there. There's great little snippets of teaching. Will Smith, if you have not seen Will Smith on YouTube, Google Will Smith motivational, and he has amazing videos. If you would just watch one of his every day, you don't even have to watch it. You could just hit the play button and listen to it. But you're going to learn a lot. You're going to get motivated. You're going to be able to fill up your soul. You're going to get pumped up. And so every day it's read 1 page. I mean, at level 5, you're reading a chapter to 2 chapters, so you work your way up to that. But YouTube, then there's creative exercises that I have them do. There's 2 different there's a creative exercise and a visionary exercise. So these are just little things. And those exercises, they're only doing it maybe twice a week because it takes brain power. And maybe even if they only do it once a week. But this is what gets your brain going again, and now you're back in it. Just like if you spent a month in the gym, you're going to start out lifting 5 pounds, but at the end of a month, you're going to get to 10 pounds.
Well, I love your analogy of the gym, because the gym is absolutely perfect. And guys, everything in our life happens for a reason. I'm 48 years old. 2 years ago, they say you get the 40 years spread, you start to gain weight, women go through menopause, premenopause. So I started gaining some weight just right well, it was all over really, but in the my pants weren't fitting right. And I call them the settlers. They're people that are in your life that settle. They settle for whatever's going on, and they want you to settle with them because misery loves company. So the women that I was around were saying, oh, you're in your 40s. You still look great. It's okay. That's what happens. And I said, not me. So I go to this gym that wasn't just a gym. It was like a personal training place where there's never more than 4 people on the floor. So to your point about working out, I go to this place. Now, mind you, I've joined many gyms in the past. If I had $1 for every gym I joined, I'd be retired. But I never went because I never needed to. Like, I never needed to. I had good genes and I was active. Well, now at this time I'm like 46. I was 148 pounds. 148 pounds. That may or may not sound like a lot, but to me, that was 25 pounds too much. So I go to this gym and I hate being there. I hate having to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I don't want to have to scrape the snow off my window to get there. I'm working out. I'm not liking it. When you've got extra 25 pounds, it's like having saddlebags on, and now you're going to the gym with saddlebags on top of everything else. And what happened was I went because I had a desire. I didn't want to keep getting bigger size pants. I didn't like how I was looking. I didn't like how that made me feel as a person. I was losing my self-confidence. Just all those things. I wanted my daughter to look up to me. I wanted to have hot boyfriends, the whole thing, right? So after a couple of months and I lost 5 or 10 pounds, I started to realize, oh, okay. I went from going out of motivation to get away from what I hated, didn't want to do. And I started being inspired and called forth to go because, oh, I'm starting to see the results. I see how this works. So what I would share with people is, one of the ways to get back into reading, get back into learning, like you're sharing, is in incremental steps. And that is why group coaching of different programs is good. Because when you get into a group situation, now you've got accountability. So like I said, I've joined gyms. If I were to just say to myself, hey, let's go to a gym. Hey, let's pick up a book. Hey, let's learn something new, right? Whatever that is for you, I wouldn't have gone. If I was going to go, I would have gone. This particular place, here's a couple of reasons why I went. $3,500 for the year. $3,500, not $10 a month, not $10 a month, $3,500 for the year. So in the beginning, I went because, damn it, I want my money's worth.
Yeah.
Right? We pay attention. You pay attention. So a lot of the times, we can have our friend groups and all that, but when we pay for something, when we're invested, we're invested. We're invested and we get something out of it. So because I had invested a lot in it, I wanted to get my money's worth. And now moving forward, I started at 148 pounds, 28% body fat or some craziness like that. And I didn't even understand all that. See, we don't even know what we don't know until we know. And now I'm on the scale today. I'm at 123 pounds, 123 pounds, 18% body fat. I feel fabulous. I have never felt or looked better. And that, my friends, is the power of having accountability partners. The power, if that trainer wasn't standing right there saying, Cami, this is the exercise today, I'm going to be hitting the road in a couple of months. And I said, I don't know what I'm going to do without you guys every day to work out. She says, well, we'll put together a system that you can do while you're on the road. I said, if I would follow a system by myself, I wouldn't need you.
I have to tell you, I was at someone else's house yesterday and they had a scale in the bathroom. And see, I was getting up at 5 a.m. every day for 6 months at least and going to the gym. Well, about August, I stopped going. And I bought a protein shake tub like 2 weeks ago, saying, well, if I buy the protein shake, then I'll go back to the gym. Well, that was 2 weeks ago. So, anyways, I forget the point of what was I going to say? So yesterday I'm at someone's house and they have a scale. And so I was like, I'm going to get on the scale and see what I weigh. Well, I'm up 5 pounds. I'm at 130.1. And usually I stay around 125 naturally. If I'm just doing
You do now, but you're in your 30s.
I know.
You're on top of it now.
I'm in my mid 30s. So anyways, I weighed myself and I was like, I said, I gained 5 pounds. It must be all in the boobs. My boobs must be getting bigger.
You wish.
I know.
Your husband wishes.
Yeah. So guess what? This morning I went back to the gym at 5 a.m. And so I'm back in the game, felt great. I had to do the walk of shame because everybody that I used to work out with at 5 a.m., they were still there. They never left. And they're like, hey, where have you been? I was like, just doing the walk of shame. I'm coming back. So anyways, yeah, definitely love the gym. And it just makes you feel good. You know, when you got a big day and you don't lose energy in the middle of the day when you're working out. So yeah, stimulate the mind, stimulate the body. Well, we have probably pushed our 20 minutes that we like to stick around. So I want to wrap it up. We talked about not liking to read books or not having time or falling asleep. And so I don't have time to read books anymore is my big deal because I'm always on the road. Well, my car is my second office. So of course I listen to all my books. So I want to share with the viewers the app that I use that I love. It's called Audible. And I believe it's a program of Amazon. So I will try to hold this up real quick. Can you see it?
Yep, I got the same one.
Yeah, that's Audible. If you download that and you get free books, they give you credits for free books. I think I paid for one out of all the books I've listened to. And the more you listen to them, you get to another level. And anyways, it's a really great program. I have found every book that I saw after on there. So I am going to actually download Power versus Force that Cami brought up today and see if I can get through that one. And I did want to touch on, I absolutely love, Cami, the statement that you made, that you said, when you pay attention. Because, you know what, let's just save that for next week, because I want to touch on that. And you said rob and duplicate, and that's such another powerful lesson. So for our viewers next week, we are going to touch on both of those subjects and really shed some light on those. So,
and by the way, we didn't start out with fabulous, fierce, and on fire. We are fabulous, fierce, and on fire. Yes. Elena, how are you today?
I am fabulous, fierce, and on fire, and I cannot believe we missed it. Oh my goodness, it's the whole essence of our show. So,
awesome. Well, I guess we will talk about all those yummy new things next week.
Yes, and hey everybody, be fabulous, fierce, and on fire for the rest of the week, and we'll see you next week to get you pumped up and ready for another week of fabulous, fierce, and on fire. All right, have a great one.
Bye-bye.